This is ring hop at West Point, and Jill was 17 and I was 18, and I had asked her to marry me on the first date.
How did you know?
I don't know. I was smitten, obviously. Both my wife and I are Army brats. We grew up in Army families. We lived all over the world. So we both felt comfortable in a life of military service, which is what we did for essentially for 33 years.
You served 2 combat tours in Vietnam. You were wounded 3 times. You have received 2 Distinguished Service Crosses, 2 Silver Stars for Valor. Those experiences, how did that change you?
As a company commander in Vietnam in 1968, there was a high probability that you'd be killed or wounded while serving. You're crawling around the mud with a sack full of hand grenades, shooting it out with somebody 20 feet away, that this is not a glamorous life. You know, we lived like animals, we dug like moles, we suffered significant casualties.
So a lot of what you went through as a young soldier, young officer, molded the type of leader you became.
Oh, no question. I'm grateful to be promoted to rank of 2-star general, but my mindset is that of an infantry company commander. So I try and remember what it's like in the dark and the rain and the freezing sleet and under gunfire and artillery fire, what these orders mean when you give them.
How would you describe yourself as a leader?
Well, you know, eat last, get on the first helicopter into combat, be an expert at your business, know what you're doing. That's the secret to leadership effectiveness.
During Operation Desert Storm, you led the 24th Infantry in the famous left hook maneuver. For people who don't know what the left hook maneuver is and how significant that was in the Gulf War, walk us through that.
Well, we ended up with 500,000 Allied forces, to include Egyptians and Jordanians and Saudis on our side, and we attacked one of the largest militaries in the world, the Iraqis. They were like tethered goats waiting for us to fall on them. They had no idea what we were capable of. My division had a unique responsibility. It was the left hook. So we attacked a couple of 300 miles into Iraq unopposed. If a division had appeared in the middle of Moscow during a parade, they could not have been more surprised. It brought the war to an end with minimal loss of life on the Iraqi part.
Was that your idea, the left hook?
No, it was General Norman Schwarzkopf. With his genius IQ and his volatile personality, we were all slightly afraid of him.
He had a huge personality during the Gulf War.
Yeah, no question. But he was also brilliant.
What lessons did you learn from working with him that you think are really relevant today?
Don't go to war unless you have to. You have no idea of the potential outcomes. There's never been in Desert Storm a more successful combat campaign that resulted in less political wins. When you pick up the cudgel and take military action, you're taking a high-risk move.
Did we learn from that when you look at what's happening today?
Maybe not. When you substitute political objectives that are not achievable by military power, you get in a position where you can't achieve your outcome in less than multiple generations. That may have been what we could have accomplished in Afghanistan if we told the American people we're going to be there for 30 years and here's what we're trying to do.
You spent some time in Washington, D.C. working for presidents, and you also worked on national drug policy.
I sure did. It was one of the most absorbing 5.5 years of my life. We had tremendous impact. We increased investment in research and development dramatically. We got a lot of drug treatment programs funded and organized, and we, most importantly, worked on drug prevention messages. And the message was, Mom and Dad, if you want to fight a war on drugs, start with your own kitchen table.
You talked about partisanship during your time there. Things have changed dramatically in Washington, D.C. since you were there, haven't they?
Oh, it's really shameful. It's like nothing in the world that we've seen since 1860, the lead up to the Civil War. So almost nothing gets done that doesn't immediately turn into a bitter partisan divide. Our Constitution is the shortest, oldest governing document in the world. But it only works when all of us agree to the myth of these constitutional values. So I think we're in trouble.
Is there anything, one thing, that keeps you up at night?
The rule of law and democracy. I think it's in some peril. My message has always been, get out there and vote, understand who the candidates are, vote for either party, but only vote for people of character. And if we don't, we're going to lose our democracy.
Your career has required long deployments, a lot of time away from home, so many sacrifices. How have you done it?
I was thrilled by the opportunity to be a battalion, brigade, division commander, a theater commander. My wife was too. We're both Army brats. We grew up in the military, and I certainly was keenly aware of the high probability that I'd get killed or maimed in combat. Jill raised a family on her own. She would marshal them up and leave quarters and fly home to her mother in Southern California and did a great job.
When you look back over your career, what do you consider your most significant contribution?
When I take on a responsibility, I try and leave it better off than where I found it. My ability to have participated in keeping the country safe are the most important things I've done. My wife and I, though, our enduring legacy is 3 children and 6 grandchildren who are people of character. That's our gift.